Austin Andrews here with your Beacon. Today we're taking a look at the overall story 1 week after the election. Now today we're doing something a little different as we look at headlines. As we turn the corner away from the presidential election, of course we continue to see news made by the election itself, but we're also looking at many other stories that are popping up that deserve attention, some of which will provide all those details today, many of which we will have to dive into in bigger episodes. But I want you to see the overview of what we are seeing. I would also encourage you to be watching the feed for these reports on our local podcast apps like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as I will be releasing special episodes that may not all make it to radio due to the sheer number of episodes it will take to discuss it all. We'll lead with this story. Last Friday, a Daily Wire breaking story confirmed a claim that Trump had made himself over 1 month ago. Daily Wire published information provided that a FEMA supervisor in Florida directed FEMA employees to skip all contact and support of houses that had any public support for Donald Trump in the election. This was in the wake of Hurricane Milton, just after Hurricane Helene. At least 20 homes were avoided by FEMA employees for this cause, stating in the paperwork things such as, quote, Trump sign, no entry per leadership, end quote. We will get the details on that in a full story at a later date. Now, Trump's election to office has not just been a profound effect on the overall feeling of the United States, affecting our markets and other indicators, but it's also encouraging foreign governments to begin talking and taking new cues from the United States. These are cues that would never be derived from the Biden-Harris White House. We're talking about Hamas coming out and actually stating they have a desire for peace. Now, they've been talking about a semblance of peace for some time, but it sure seems like the rhetoric has changed. Of course, their demands have not changed all that much. The demand that has come with Hamas saying that they're looking for peace is that the United States turn its back on Israel, which is unlikely to happen under Donald Trump. Still, the signaling of the end of conflict between Hamas and Israel is a good thing. Beyond that, the country of Qatar, a country that shares oil refineries with Iran and is almost an intermediary for the Iranians with their foreign policy. Well, Qatar has just declared that they will no longer negotiate for Hamas leaders. And in fact, all Hamas leaders that have been housed in the country are being kicked out. Yeah, that's a pretty big shift, and they're taking that step with Trump heading into office. China and Russia have also made overtures to Donald Trump in the wake of his election win. They've declared favor towards Donald Trump, initiatives for peace in the Middle East and in the eastern Ukrainian war. And they've also supported the idea of overall peaceful coexistence with the United States. Another headline catching attention is the top pharmaceutical companies, as they're hosting emergency meetings to decide how to handle the transition to Trump's presidency. These corporate entities have recognized that with Trump's mandate will come a loose leash on Robert F. Kennedy Jr., with Trump making it clear that Bobby Kennedy will get a lot of leeway to curtail the big pharmaceutical companies and their incestuous relationship with big government and media. This can manifest in many different ways, including a curtailing of what money is available to spend on media, as in advertising. And it will also mean a strong attack on what vaccines are being able to be recommended, at what age, how many, all of those kinds of details, all will come under Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s purview. Now, former Trump advisor General Michael Flynn has released a statement that is calling for an extraordinary measure to be taken over President Trump's health and well-being. The stark warning has come that Trump's life will continue to be in danger, and that it is not just due to the left, which may have helped inspire the 2 attempted assassinations on his life the last several months, but the danger could also come from the deep state itself as Trump prepares for a level of accountability for the intelligence apparatus of the United States that has not existed in decades, if it ever. As Trump steps into the White House, his legal woes also seem to be melting away, as these cases are being postponed or dismissed or just fading slowly into the background. Jack Smith, the special counsel under Joe Biden that brought multiple cases against Trump in both D.C. and Florida, well, he's now looking for an off-ramp, a way to wind down the cases legally before Trump gets into office. As the special counsel has tried to fade into the background, congressional Republicans have told the special counsel's office to prepare and preserve all documents and communications for review as they exert oversight in what has been a litigation to prevent Trump and his ascendancy to the White House. Finally, another headline that requires some attention is that of a COVID peer review study. That is a COVID vaccine peer-reviewed study that has released astonishing results. This peer-reviewed study is demanding an immediate global moratorium on all administration of the COVID vaccine as the gene sequencing injection is being tied to a radical increase in brain clots, known scientifically as cerebral venous thrombosis. The data shows an over 1,000% increase in the risk of brain clots. We'll give you more details on that as they come available. The entire world seems to be changing in front of our very eyes as it prepares for a new Trump presidency. And Trump is making it known that his cabinet will be full of experienced, fully prepared change makers. I'll give you more details on the many paths ahead of us. But until then, I'm Austin Andrews, and I'll see you on the next report.